on the overtime push on the attack, you had a Winston sitting by himself where he, on the second point, but instead on this attack, you have all of the Guardians pushing up here with one person on cart. This is how you should do it as a team, and that's just the difference we're seeing right now. Good blade coming out though, but it shouldn't be enough.
Yeah, Jardum also coming out with the Bastion ult does get a kill, but that's gonna do it. Your Season 3 champions are the Greensburg Guardians for the Xbox. Congratulations to a dominant season.
Hey everyone, it's Tenrek with the Esport Company with another interview. As Season 3 has come to a close, we have a lot of congratulations to dole out to all of our winning teams, and that's beginning with the Overwatch Xbox winning team, the Greensburg Guardians. With me is the captain of that team, it's Snake G9. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Of course. So, first of all, of course, congratulations to you and the rest of the Guardians on snagging the Season 3 title. I mean, how does it feel?
It feels pretty good. You know, we started off the season a bit rocky. I know this is my first season in tech. One of my friends was like, hey, we're really getting back into Overwatch after a couple of years of, being away. He's like, yo, this seems cool. We joined. It was a little rocky at first, but after a bit, we found our footing, hit our stride, and really it was nothing stopping us at that point.
Yeah, no, a great way to come back. I want to talk to you a little more about hitting that stride. Yeah, as you mentioned, your first game was actually a loss to the Liberty, a 3-1, and then, you turned that around, and then you 3-0'd every single team that you played after during that season. I mean, what do you think was really the linchpin in turning the entire team around?
I think it was definitely we made a couple roster moves between the first game and then our next game. Made a couple roster moves, got some people that were a little bit higher, and it wasn't like we just threw them all in and said, go, 1v6 everybody type thing. But their experience definitely helped, right? Like they had an outlook at the game that not all of us had. So even if we had one of them in just saying, hey, do this, or like, let's think about doing this, that definitely put a different set of eyes on the game, I guess you could say. For a while I was trying to call, but it wasn't, a good calling for an Overwatch background, I guess. I've been playing a lot of CS recently as well. So I was trying to call in a different way that wasn't quite as effective. And they came in, they definitely helped me personally get those calling straight, and they helped call as well when I needed some slack to be picked up. And after that, just the way we called, the way we, came together as a team, we were like more spread out early season. And then we got together, we played as one unit, not as just 6 individual players. So, a lot of those improvements really help us, get our footing, get our feet into the dirt and just drive back.
Absolutely, yeah, and what a team it turned out to be. I mean, after all those roster changes, it turns out that you guys have an absolutely stacked team at this point. Can you tell me, regardless of how late the roster that won the championship came out to be, how do you administer such a lethal chemistry into a team?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, sometimes you're not always going to get it with certain people, so you kind of gotta you gotta use that a little bit of time. A lot of it comes with time. Is figuring out how people communicate and how people are going to communicate with each other, right? I could, somebody could be great at calling, but, if you have 2 people that are tremendous at calling, try to call over each other, it's just going to be a mess and nobody's going to understand what's going on. So a lot of it is knowing who we should be listening to and who should be the primary voice at the moment, getting one person to call primarily and having them be like the main voice, not have people talk over each other. And, sometimes if you get 2 people that are really good at calling or really think they're, have really high skill, sometimes you gotta kind of put egos aside. We're all a team, whatever, at the end of the day, like sure, you might have performed better than someone else, but that doesn't mean that you can tear the other person down because you did better. We just gotta, buckle up one team, push through and just roll them.
Absolutely, yeah. Communication is key, and it certainly paid off. I want to talk to you a little bit about that, about the playoff match. It was a 4-0, a straight clean win for you guys, and for me, watching it back, a lot of it was just about how uncontested a lot of your players went a lot of the time. I mean, everybody really had the space and time to shine as the maps went on, and it's just because you guys just had so much room to breathe. How do you think you guys made that happen?
I think it was, a lot of that, a lot of them respecting us as a team and respecting us, giving us space, all the space that we wanted, was definitely setting precedent early in the games. If we came out kind of slow, didn't set the tempo early, that'd be a whole different final, whole different season in general. But, every game we came out 110% straight out the gate, didn't really give you room to think, right? The more time that we gave you to set up or the more time we gave you to, plant your feet in the dirt was time that we were on the back foot type thing. But every single time that we were on, we were prancing forward, we were going, and you guys, the enemy team, were on the back foot, that's where we really shined. So setting that tempo early every single game was really the key. If we didn't just straight like kind of go it, like we would go to point, group up a bit, just poke for a bit, and then we just gas pedal on somebody straight away. If we don't set that tempo, if we just play a poke game all day, that becomes a whole different team, because we definitely have a lot of players that thrive in that high action, what's going on right now? There's 12 people in 5 feet. What's going on? Who are we going at? We have a lot of those players that strive in that tight, fast gameplay and stuff like that. So we really just tried to set the tempo early and get control of those games as soon as we could.
You did really make sure that everyone was constantly playing the Guardians game, and because of that, it really was a bombastic display and a consistent one too. Which I actually wanted to talk about as well. I believe you flex DPS as well as tank. Am I right?
Yeah, I did for I think a match or two. I think I did hop onto the DPS.
Right. How deep would you say your roster tends to go in their ability to switch off to different roles or characters if they need to?
I mean, I feel like we definitely have a group of players that kind of stays in their limits for the most part. A lot of our players only played support throughout the entire season, only played DPS, only played tank. I kind of volunteer. Like everybody can do it on our team. There's no really weak link. Everyone, if need be, could go to a different role and play a different role at a high level and at a level that they were proficient in. But I kind of threw myself in the deep end. I said, if there's ever a scenario where we need to fill a different role, I'll be the person to do it. I would rather, if anyone's going to be uncomfortable on an off roll, I'd rather it be me than someone else, right? So I think that's one of those games that I was on the DPS. We had a couple players that couldn't make it or things popped up. And I was like, hey, instead of you being uncomfortable trying to play DPS, let me do it. I'd rather be the one uncomfortable and underperforming than any of you guys. So I kind of, took that fall. Everybody could do it, though. Like in the event that I couldn't show up one day or we had a huge thing come off, I feel like any single person on our team could step in and fill that role as needed.
Right. I mean, yeah, for sure. Your ability to be comfortable with each other is definitely another trait that helped your team really succeed this season and this playoff. I want to talk about that comfort a little bit, like how because a lot of your teammates are very comfortable in who they play and how they play for so many matches, and every single time it's worked out. How would you say you found comfort in what you play? Because I know a lot of teams and a lot of players have a lot of trouble finding their place and sitting themselves down and committing to something with the possibility of it not working.
Yeah, it's a good question. I know that some people, like especially in our team, it's just kind of stick one thing and go at it, right? Put 110% into mastering one thing versus 10% into mastering everything, right? And I know that sometimes it's not always going to work. Right, I pretty much, every single time I was on tank, I was pretty much running Zarya, like all the time. And that's like a scenario where Zarya, I mean, like even out of tech. In practices, that's pretty much all I go. In ranked, that's all I go. Like pretty much any time I'm playing tank in Overwatch, I'm playing Zarya. So it's something that, it's just time and it's that chemistry. And you got to be aware that, sometimes I might hit myself into a brick wall. I might not do always the best. I could be performing personally at the peak of my game, but that's not always going to equate to a win in a team game. So that's one of those things where it just comes with time, confidence in your own ability, right? Like you can go into, it's a lot of confidence in saying that I can go and I can play my game at 110% and I'll be playing the best. And, if we bring it all together as a team, everyone at their peak playing together, that's the consistency you look for right there.
The time and care you put into Zarya certainly showed itself on the battlefield in the playoff match. But I gotta ask, who's your go-to pocket?
Oh, for what? If charging energy?
Yeah, who's your go-to bubble?
Reinhardt, all the time. People shoot at him, he puts his shield up, and you still get charged. That's easy. Right there. Bubbles, it's over.
Always a solid choice, and we love seeing those tank cores in our playoff matches. They played such a big role in all three. But in the end, what's a team without a captain? That captain being you. And what makes you want to continue being the best captain that you can be?
I feel like it's definitely some of the players that didn't quite get the chance to, to quite prove themselves this season. I noticed we had some people that joined in later and weren't super comfortable playing in any of our officials yet. Definitely seeing what their future and holds, like, how they can improve. Like I know just from them joining and even just them showing up in practices, not even playing in officials, you can tell. Really, it's night and day the improvement that they've hit. just game mechanics, all that type of stuff. Like all their, all their senses of their game have definitely improved. And it's definitely seeing that type of stuff and seeing the, the potential future for leadership in our team. There's definitely a couple people that, they could step into the captain role. And if one day they want to, then, I'm there to help them with that transition. I'm there to, make sure everything goes smoothly and hope that they can be a better captain than me, honestly.
It's great to see you already talking about the future. Looking into that, what's next for the Guardians? What's going to get them the Season 4 championship?
That's a fabulous question. I honestly not entirely sure the answer. I guess time will tell.
I suppose so. But yeah, once again, congratulations to you, Snake, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me tonight for the interview. And thank you to the rest of you for watching this championship interview. We'll see you later with more interviews with the rest of the champions.